Listen, you all have had encounters, okay, all of you. When I spoke of Samuel, the Holy Spirit just reminded me, you all have had encounters in your life. That's the reason why you are here. Because there came a point in your life where you experienced God. I was talking to this lady and she was saying that I can never forget that day when the Holy Spirit filled me and I was weeping out of joy, and I was weeping and I was weeping and I was weeping. Now I can never get that day back. That's a lie. That's a lie. If you have had an experience of God, you are going to have experiences that are better than that. Okay, that's a lie. Don't think that you had an encounter with the Lord and that was the ultimate. But what is your part? You need to dig. You need to go back and bring yourself to that point and ask yourself, what was I doing that triggered God to touch me? I remember, one time I was sharing in one particular church, and the power of God was so evident. Like suddenly I became so bold. And I began to share, and I knew I was sharing. I remember I was sharing about prayer, life of prayer, and how we need to embrace prayer. And I have never felt, that presence was something else. I was walking up and down this church, my former church. I was walking. Some of you, I don't know if you were part of that meeting, you'll remember. After that, we began this daily meeting in our church office for prayer. And when I was thinking about that time and I was talking to the Lord and I was going back, I was saying, God, what was it that triggered that presence? And God reminded me of that time when I had shut the door to my room. I was alone. I was on the floor and I was praying and I was busy loving God. And that is the key. You need to go back. You need to go back to that same encounter. When Samuel heard the voice of God, Eli, what did Eli tell him? Eli understood. He was wise at that time. He understood something that Samuel couldn't understand. He said, Samuel went to him and said, I heard God. And I mean, he didn't say I heard God. He said, did you call me? Did you call me? And Eli gauged that it was God who was calling him. And what did Eli tell him? Go back. Go back. The same spot. Go back and lie down. Go back. You were lying next to the altar and God spoke. Go back. So this goes for you. What were you doing when you experienced that move of God in your life? God is inviting you to go back to that fellowship. And greater encounters are awaiting you. And that's the way our God is. He moves from one level up to the other level and up and up and up and never down. So your encounters are only going to get better. You need to go back. You need to embrace. Some of you need to take a U-turn. For a long time we have walked so far that we have left God far behind. It's time we go back and we cry out from our hearts, God, walk with me. Walk with me daily, daily, daily.